Good morning, students. Last day, we have seen about the data types, different data types of C++, like char, float, int. So these data types we have seen. Char data types which stores 1 byte, integer 4 bytes, and float and boolean data type. Boolean means true or false. It will store the true or false, that is 0 and 1. So that these things we have seen yesterday, and there are different modifiers like signed, unsigned, short and long. Now today we will see about the variables, how will you declaration and initialization of variable. Declaration means what? Like integer means data type with the variable name. This is the data type followed by the variable name. So that is declaration. Okay, so first you have to define a variable before using it in a program, so that the compiler can make the appropriate type of location available in the memory. When you will compile the program, then compiler should locate that variable in the memory. So if you want to declare the character type of variable, suppose the data type variable name is name. Okay, so how will you write it? Char name. Okay, so char is the data type and the variable name is name, or you can say any variable name, like subject, any subject like English. So that you can write char subject in this way. Now if it is a integer type of variable, then how will you write it? Int, then variable name, like roll number or marks. So int marks, int number, int sum. So in this way you have to write declare the variable. If the data type is float, means fractional value you want to store, then how will you declare that variable? First you have to write the data type and then identifier name or variable name. Variable identifier means previous day I have told you, identifier that may be variable, that may be constant, class, structure. So class structure you don't know. Constant means I have told you, constant means the value is fixed. Okay, and variable means in the program it may change. The value of the variable may change in the variable during the program, in the program. So that is variable. Now how will you integer means if you want to store the whole numbers, then you have to declare the variable int. Okay, and if you want to store the decimal values or fractional value, then you have to write the float. So float, and then you have to write the name of the variable. Okay, so suppose you want to store the value 3.45. Okay, then how will you declare the variable? Float suppose num, or float number. So in this way you can declare the different type of variables. Now if you want to initialize, initializing means what? You have to initial value means any value you have to give in the variable. Initially means after that when the program will start, you can change the value of the variable, but initially you have to store any value in the variable. So that is initialization. So how will you initialize that variable? For that, first you declare the variable like data type, and then identifier or variable name, then assignment operator like equal to, and then give the value. Okay, so just for example, suppose int num equals to 20. So that is the initialization of the variable. Initialization on the second line also you can do, on the same line you can do. Like first you declare the variable int num, and then on the next line you have to write num equals to 10, or you want to write in the same line int num equals to 10. Okay, so this is the way how will you declare the variable and initialize the variable. Now next thing is input stream and displaying output. Displaying output means how will you display the output on the monitor in C program. Okay, in C++. So for that like first we have started, when you start the program, then you have noticed that we have started with hash include iostream.h. So header file iostream, that is for input and output stream. So their header file, I have told you previously ki header file means it stores different functions, that is like a library. Okay, so it stores library functions. So this input or output, for this all the functions are stored here in .iostream.h file. So here if you want to display the output on the screen, then you have to write cout, cout. So cout is used to display the output on the screen, and for that you have to use the less than sign. So cout less than, double less than sign, and then double inverted comma. Within the double inverted comma you have to write whatever you want to display on the monitor. Like you want to write enter your roll number or enter your marks. Okay, so for that what you will write cout, then double less than sign, then double inverted comma, and then you write enter the marks, inverted comma close, and then semicolon. Semicolon is the terminator of the C++ program, means each and every line you have to end with this semicolon, terminator. Okay, so this is the way how will you cout, how will you display the output on the screen. Now how will you input from the user? For that you have to use cin, in for input. Just you can remember like this, C is for C++ program and in is for input, out is for output. So cin, and here you will use double greater than sign. So in display cout less than sign, and here cin greater than sign, and then you write down the variable name. Like if you have stored the variable value in the variable, suppose num, then you will write cin greater than sign num semicolon. That means it will take the input from the user. Okay, it will take the input, it will accept the data from the user, and through the cout that value within the variable it will display on the monitor. Okay, so for that, suppose you want to display first you want to enter the number or marks, and then you want to display it on the monitor. Then what you will do, first you have to write cin greater than sign, then double inverted comma, and then you have to write enter the marks, inverted comma close, semicolon, and then you go to the next line and cout cin. First you write down cin num. So it will accept, when you will write cin num is the variable name, then what will happen, it will accept the data from the user, and that value what user will enter will store in the num variable. Okay, and after that if you want to display that value on the monitor, then you have to write cout less than sign and then num. So it will, what will be the output of this? First it will accept the data from the user, and that value which the user have entered, it will display on the monitor. So this is the way how will you enter and input and output on the screen in C++ program. So double quoting is for showing means whatever you want to display. That multiple insertion operator means on the same line, like suppose you want to write cin enter the number, and on the same line you can write, like initially just now I have told you cin enter the number, and then you are writing cin greater than num. No, so these two lines you can write in the same line. How will you write? Through the multiple insertion operator. So cin greater than sign, then enter the username within the inverted username, enter the marks within the inverted comma, and then again the greater than sign, and then num. So what will happen, what the user will, first it will output will be what, first it will ask you enter the marks, and then on the same line it will take the marks from the user. So this is the way you will enter the multiple insertion through the multiple insertion operator. Okay, so next line we will do insert, next day we will see the next, that is how will you insert the line break and other things. After that we will do the practical also. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.